right along the outer skirts of Jerusalem through the more or less slum area. This is a view of St. John's Cathedral, our church, which will be our first stop. And in just a few moments, we will have an opportunity to hear the lecture from the tour guide.
In the 6th century, the hermits were living in the desert. And this area was considered as a desert, a very suitable place for isolation, to be by yourself, and in the open, live as a poor. Remember the Sermon on the Mountain? Blessed will be the poor, and so on. Therefore, the hermits who followed the tradition that Jesus founded were seeking for those isolated places where they could have some kind of living accommodation, a cave, maybe some small hut or whatever it is. But then, in the 4th century, St. Helen came over, St. Helen, the mother of Constantine, came over to these parts. She followed the tradition of Jesus' activities. Wherever she came, she founded some kind or another of a church or a small chapel or whatever there was, or a monastery to help the hermits. Then in the 6th century, Justinian was the emperor of the Byzantine Empire here in the east. He did for the hermits more than anybody else. They were, open season, I'd say, because anyone, any shepherd or anyone who passed by could attack them, could do whatever he liked with those hermits or monks that were living around here. Therefore, he built fortified monasteries, and you can see this is a fortified monastery, and in it there is a church that we are going to visit that church, not the monastery. It is operated by, now it's operated by the monks, the Franciscans, but it used to be a place that was founded at the 6th century as a fortified
As you can see, we are now inside the church. The beauty of the gold sculptures and statues. You really need to be here in order to see this in person. Some of Saturn's finest, some of them very lost. Distinguished visitors from Washington. These overhead stained glass windows are out of focus because of the poor lighting inside the church. Here some of Saturn's tourists are purchasing souvenirs. Obviously a hymn of some type. several robes worn during ceremonies by the monks. The furniture is very antique. The gentleman you saw in the black was actually what I call the monk on duty, or the MOD. Again, we're speeding along to our second stop. And these pictures are again being shot from the window of the bus. Strolling along the Avenue of Remembrance in outer Jerusalem. The several trees you see planted here along the walkway are, each one has a name plate in front of it, and they were actually planted as a memoriam for those people that aided the Jews during the Holocaust to escape annihilation. Some of them are very old, as much as 20 to 25 years.
Connection that they got there, and they just took over few fishing boats, the bigger fishing boats, and then in Sweden, 7,200 people were saved that way from Denmark. They were transferred over to Sweden. Sweden was neutral. Therefore, Raoul Wallenberg, over here you saw the tree planted in his name. One of the prominent
Another view of Saturn's crew as we approach the second portion of the memorial for the Holocaust.
But it stopped them for about 3 months, and they had to take out from the front a whole division to fight against the Jews in the ghetto. Plenty of them got killed during that uprising. Some of them succeeded to escape the forest to join the partisans in the war. It's not something. Therefore, described by the president.
The sculpture in here is very breathtaking. Some desire our picture made to make sure that we know we were there.
Made by Israeli sculptor.
Here we find several displays from the era of the Second World War. Actually, this is a picture of a body being stuffed into one of the ovens. It's not very clear because of the lighting again. Here, this sculpture speaks for itself, the pain and suffering. The area we are getting ready to enter here is the memorial which contained the ashes collected from the various concentration camps of the cremated Jews. The various names of the different concentration camps are carved into the floor. All men must wear a hat upon entering this hallowed place in observance of Jewish tradition.
Did you get that statue over there, the weeping?
No.
Weeping mother?
We're heading now to the Children's Memorial. We weren't allowed to take pictures on the inside. But if you can imagine being a part of infinity, once inside you get this feeling. We are told that some 1.5 million children were annihilated. This is a panoramic view of the new city of Jerusalem from the hill.
Street was, let's say, one side of the street was Israeli, the other side of the street was Jordanian. That was used to be the border. Jerusalem was divided, and then as we go here, you see the old one, a small house over there, that was Israeli, while on the other side, beyond the parking lot, used to be Judean. Olives.
Actually, what you're looking at now is
Now
a
let's
view
see
from a
how skilled is
hilltop.
our driver to enter into the parking space there.
At Mount of Olives.
Coming this way.
Over here.
This is a view into the old city of Jerusalem, which we were not allowed to visit. That's Mount of Olives. And I guess you would call this the suburbs. That wall surrounds the old city, the one we just passed.
Of the gate which is here.
And here we will get a lecture on this is actually a replica of the old city of Jerusalem, and I'll let the tour guide tell you the story here.
This weak point to prevent anyone to come through its natural approach. The natural approach to Jerusalem from the west and from the north is this direction. Here, this. Now it's going around, goes the wall, around the wall, and reaching over here. Once you protect this square where I'm in, you protect the gate. So this is the reason, three enormous towers protecting the weakest point, which is the gate. Now you have to remember or to know that the scale of this model is 1 to 50. It means any inch on that model, it's 50 inch on the actual size. And the topography was made according to the original topography of the old city. It means where it slopes down, it's sloping down even in the actual one-to-one size, the city of Jerusalem. Now, in the most fanciest area, at the upper, observe straight to the square, the big square that will be there, Mount Moriah. Later, after conquering the whole downtown, they came up this way, and this quarter was the last one to stand against the Romans. Therefore, you see how strong it was built, that though the city was already in the hands of the Romans, still now this layout is according to the restorer or the reconstructor image. We know now that very huge buildings, huge in any scale that you can count, up to about 7,000 square feet in a house. So this is the size of the prominent people. This is actually today outside the city walls of Jerusalem, because this is, you see where that tomb is, that's the King David's tomb. It's outside on Mount Zion. We drove, I showed you the cone-shaped dome over there, the church. That's the vicinity. Now it's outside the city walls, which are somewhere this way going down, or winding to the corner over there. King David's tomb is shown.
Okay.
Hey Val, get an overall
Now you
view
can
from,
see
from here. From
another
there.
quarter over here, or another neighborhood in the city. Smaller
You got that
buildings,
one here?
smaller houses, though they are
King David's
still,
tomb.
I say, very moving, very steady
Tale
all
about
around
old
the
Jerusalem.
around here. You can see streets sitting down. But then again, according to the one who restored it,
Realize that.
built it going to his. Now, we came over here, huge building over there, construction. That is called the Valley. Now, between the Valley and the Saturn over here, you see the wall inside. That's the city of David. When David conquered the city of Jebus, this was the place he conquered. Somewhere up to about here. A small sausage-like walled city, and he came over here and conquered it and turned it into his capital, into the city which people look forward to it. People urged to come over there, and it became, he called it Zion, and that became even the name for the whole Holy Land with us Jews, Zion. And Zionists, the whole movement, is cut from that time that David called his city. We call it now the city of David, but then it was called Zion. Well, this city, at the second time period, time of Jesus, was, and then some foreign royal family from somewhere South Europe who converted into Judaism came over to fight with the Jews against the Romans. They built their palaces just before over here, therefore you can see these fancy houses, these fancy palaces around here. According to Josephus' description, inside the city of Jerusalem there were some kind of entertainment places that were customary among the foreigners, namely the Romans. One of them was a hippodrome that you can see over here, reconstructed, though on the ground while searching, while excavating, we found no trace of existing one. But according to Mount Moriah, the hill overlooking Jerusalem, old Jerusalem from its north, and on this hill King Solomon built the first temple. It was destroyed in the year of 586, and you got the table on the chart I gave you this morning. You got at the back side, you got the chart of the periods. The Babylonians, the stairs leading in, two major entrances were at the southern wall. A Jew has to pilgrim at least 3 times a year to the holy site over there for sacrifice. It was in the Passover, it was in the Pentecost, and it was in the Tabernacles. 3 holidays that people came, made pilgrim to Jerusalem. And now, pilgrimage in Hebrew means climbing up on foot. If I translate the Hebrew verse for pilgrimage, means la'alot laregel. It means official business that has to be done. And if you remember your Bible, remember that when Jesus came over to the Mount Moriah and he saw those money changers, and he said it's offense of the Holy of Holiness, and he turned the tables there. That was done in these yards because that was official. Because you see, once you were a pilgrim, you came over to sacrifice. You didn't carry the goat or the sheep or the ox all the way from your home. You bought it here in Jerusalem, so you had to bring money with you. The money, it has to be changed somehow. That's the money changer. So he turned it over. So that's the civilian side, I'd say, civilian area of things that were all around there, and it was operated by the priest. This is the gate, what we call it now, the Gate of Mercy, Now it's closed, exists up to these days, but it's blocked. And it says that when Messiah will come, we completed the circle around Jerusalem. If you want a general view from a higher elevation, there are stairs over there. You can go over there from the porch, that's an observation. You have a general view of it, and once you've seen it, you can go back to the bus.
Adam,
Yeah,
I want you to tell me where the path was that they took Jesus on.
the bus.
That he had to carry the cross.
All right, we can go straight, but here you see that entrance, the western entrance to the. Oh, maybe there was stairs, maybe there were. And he went all the way. Try to imagine a straight line, a street that led to the gate, and here you can see the opening.
Was he carrying the cross already?
Yeah, he was carrying the cross. You see that opening over there? You see this?
That little tiny one?
That little tiny one.
Oh, okay, I see it. It's, it's
and-
off on the left.
Yeah,
Okay.
off on the left hand. And just in front of it, to
Golgotha.
our direction, that's the Golgotha,
Okay.
Calvary.
And where? That's where they actually did is up there on top of that little Golgotha thing.
Yeah, on top of it. That's according to the Catholic tradition.
Yeah, yesterday, we making fun of him yesterday. Shit, this guy here ain't working. They got an old ass bus. Look at that old piece of shit there. That damn bus older too.
Looking at Haifa Bay from the top of Mount Carmel. Tour day number 2. The old city of Akka, a view of the wall.
Now, everybody, if you want to use the restroom, something in, you have to go to the left and come back here to this area, okay? Is forbidden as it is according to the Jewish tradition. It is forbidden to light fire, to ride a car, and therefore even to show you the movie about the Crusader city here in Akko. But who were the Crusaders? I'll do my best to give you the explanation. Who were the Crusaders? At the end of the 11th century, the beginning of the 12th century, Christians from Europe, all the countries in Europe, decided to come to this area, to the Holy Land, and to save all the holy places. For example, in Jerusalem, the crucifixion place, all the Via Dolorosa road, the road that Jesus was carrying the cross on his back, and all the stations after the events that had happened there. In Bethlehem, the nativity place, the place where Jesus was born, as all the places, all the Holy Land was occupied by the Muslims. The Christians from Europe decided to come here to this area, to the Holy Land, and to save these places from the Muslims. They came from Italy, from Belgium, from all Europe. And they were divided to groups. They were called Crusaders. In Hebrew, Tzalbanim. Therefore, you can find in some books that it is written Akko. Akko is the name of the city. Akko Hatzalbanit, the Crusader city of Akko. Everything that you can see here, this hall and all the others hall, belong to the Crusader city of Akko. The main area that the Crusaders sat was the seashore. Why? The Muslims were afraid from the sea. The Crusaders, as they arrived from Europe with their ships, by the ships, to the seashore area, and they occupied this town, Akko, as they couldn't enter to Jerusalem. They made Akko their capital, the city of Akko. So they sat here in Akko, they sat in Sidon. Today, in Lebanon, we find Sidon. They sat in Atlit and all the area of the seashore. The last battle between the Crusaders and the Muslims took place in the year 1187. The place is called the Horns of Hittin. And we are going to pass through this area. I'll show you from our bus the Horns of Hittin, a shape of two horns, and that was the place that the Crusaders were defeated by Salah ad-Din and the Muslims. The year 1187, they left the area, 20,000 Crusaders were killed, and 30,000 were taken as prisoners. The Crusaders left the area, ran back to this area of the seashore, to Akko and Atlit, and 2 years later left the Holy Land towards Europe. Many years later, the year 1775, a Muslim, a slave by the name of Jazar, captured all the area of Akko. He put himself as a sultan, as a king, a Turkish king, and ruled all the area here surrounding Akko. 1775, Napoleon, that wanted to conquer all the area, to make Akko as the capital of his empire, sat not far away from Akko, on the hill. We'll see it later on after we'll have our walking tour. And as he sat over there on that hill, he wanted to conquer all this area of Akko. The Muslims, they were helped by the English fleet. Their admiral of the English fleet, the name was Sir Sidney Adams, I think, I'm not sure. And Napoleon couldn't conquer this town of Akko and left the area back to Stella Maris, the corner of Mount Carmel, the Star of the Sea, and from there, from Stella Maris, from Mount Carmel, back to Egypt with all the prisoners and the wounded people that he had. So Akko stayed a Muslim city until the beginning the beginning of the English mandate here, 1917. Now, everything that you can see here today, the Crusader city, the system that they used to build the halls and the buildings with the big, heavy stones, everything was covered underground. And the archaeologists did a lot of work here to dig and to save everything. Now we are going to walk downstairs inside the Crusader city, passing through the dining room and downstairs to the crypta to show you their escape, the Crusaders' escape to the...
Oh, give me back over there. You got it back.
Man, you don't even have to spin over, do you?
No, no. I got it made. You don't either.
Yeah, that's right.
Now this is the escape route. The escape route to the sea.
Where?
They didn't know. Read about it. See?
He's changing. Carefully with the camera.
Goodness.
This way.
We'll have some more.
Was called Mesopotamia. Yes, with the two rivers, the Prat and the Negev. Akko was a passage, and this place that we are inside now is called the Pillars Inn. It's written over there. The Pillars Inn, or in the Arabic language, Khan El Omdan. Omdan, Pillars, Khan, the inn. Now, everyone that had a business here in Akko, the animals, the horses were kept in the first floor, and the second floor was the inn. This is the biggest inn that we can find from the Crusaders' time here in Akko. And outside of the inn, you can see the tower clock. There are 3 tower clocks, such as this one here in Israel. The biggest one is here in Akko, another one in Jaffa, the old city of Tel Aviv, and another one we can find in Jerusalem, the old city of Jerusalem. No clocks. Now, you can't see any clock, but you can see the empty place. As I told you, the Crusaders were divided into groups. And Haifa, how it is built on slopes of Mount Carmel. On the top of Mount Carmel, we can see our observation point. and the downtown hotel. Okay? This way, please.
What's the trip?
Okay.
Vai, festa, festa. Other countries outside too. They look at the flag, Nigeria, football, Switzerland, Irish, Philippines, Thailand.
Their brothers was there to show them that they are one people, one movement.
The Church of Annunciation. They're inside now.
Meaning Judeo-Christian. They were Jews converted to the Christianity. Second one, 449, Byzantine. 1109, Crusaders. 1730, Franciscan. And this is also the big church, Franciscan order, but this is only 1960 to 69. Called the Church of Annunciation, the largest and the finest church in the whole Middle East, with very interesting dome. Look at the dome and recognize why interesting. It's a quite new but not modern style. The style of it, Oriental, Byzantine, European. And it looked like a flower lily, so the name of it, a lily of Nazareth. But more interesting too.
Going down here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What?
Was that a joke about the
Picture by the Sea of Galilee. All right, stand up. Sea of Galilee. First one. Sea of Galilee's over here. You say push. Okay. There's Dad. Dad at the old Sea of Galilee. Graham, turn around. There's Dad at the sea. All right. So does that mean I gotta move? You say push, right? Okay. So you say push. I will run. Is this a picture of you? No?
Yeah, you go down here. No, this is the way coming up. You go down the steps. You can go back there. That's the part where you're 1-year-old.
I guess it ain't the Mississippi, huh?
No, it ain't. Actual baptism in the river of Jordan, the mouth of Galilee.
Go ahead, Doc.
Take a little cigarette from
Some of those things coming up.
Oh, yeah, it's running. Dogging. It's running. And then Echo's got his head right there. I got Mr. Farmer right this way. Right Farmer's there. Oh, that's the
You get it?
Yeah, but that's dirty. Yeah, I see it.
How about over that way?
Go show up the picture. You looking at it. Oh, there we go. Go show up the picture. If I drop it down a little bit.
Okay. I didn't get that crust.
Yeah, you are.
Maybe a little niche.
Go
like
work.
a little piece of hairy leg.
Want a little piece of hairy leg? Wait a second. Where are we? What is this?
Copernicum.
Oh, okay.
It's the town outside of the Sermon on the Mountain. These are the people he was preaching to.
Copernicus.
Inside the area, inside the synagogue, and walking outside to the exit, you'll be able to see on your left-hand side how the Oliarch, picture of the Oliarch on the wall. Okay? And take your pictures, if you want, of the synagogue, the beautiful synagogue, and follow me outside. I'll show you.
You might want to get this in writing over here. Some of it's in English. Isn't that something?
Here's our guy.
Guide. Oh, you can walk in that.